Thanks. Thanks for your time, Laura. Your players had just kind of talked about it, but making the defensive errors in the box there, the final third there, seemed to be like the problem with the opening 2 goals. What were you kind of seeing from your team to concede so early and so quickly?
Yeah, I mean, we spoke for the last 2 weeks about Utah are very aggressive in their pressure. They're going to come on the front foot. And we need to make sure that we put the ball in areas where they can't hurt you. Unfortunately, we didn't do that well enough at times today and got really punished for it. The first goal, obviously, even the third goal was like that a little bit for us. I think we created chances in the first half that we could have done a little bit better at, maybe. Goals change games. So if we'd have had an opportunity to score or take those chances, I think we might have been able to shift the momentum a little bit. And I said that to the group at the end. I think in those moments when you have momentum and you like really pushing to get back into the game, you ideally want to score in those moments, but you definitely don't want to give up a goal. And that third goal was like a sucker punch, and we talk a lot about big 5 moments, not scoring not conceding early, conceding right before the half, are all things we talk about a lot as a group, that if you do those things right, and you can either impose yourself on the opponent, or you can make sure they don't impose themselves on you. You give yourself a better chance of getting a result, but we couldn't do that, unfortunately, today.
Laura, obviously it's right after the match, but do you have any information on Jess and her status? Obviously it didn't look great.
I do not. I don't. I think she's gone to get checked out. But yeah, I agree. I don't think it looked great either.
Any other in-person questions? We'll go to Zoom for now, and then we'll come back to in-person. Kazim, go ahead. You can unmute.
Hey, Laura. So how's the team kind of dealing with, obviously we don't have a timeline or any updates, but how's the team kind of dealing with, the shock of a moment like Jess going down, especially, given the nature of this week and her announcement?
I think when obviously the injury happened, we were really on the front foot and we were really pushing. It sucked the life out of us a little bit, I think. But then, I think we started to get back into it. In all honesty, I don't know. I think she is a big part of the group, obviously, for who she is and what she's done and the leadership role that she plays within our group. But it's hard to say right now how the group's really responding to that, because I think there's just so much unknown, to be honest.
All right, we'll go here to Callahan and then Grant.
So with you down 3-0 at halftime, what is the message to the team, and what are sort of the mental and physical cues that you tell them to try to get them to come back swinging?
At halftime, it was honestly a little tweak in how we wanted to get on the ball, and just a belief and a commitment that we were going to try and do the things that we'd spoke about doing all week, because we weren't really doing them enough in the first half. And I think we did them in the second half. We pressed them better. We forced them to give us the ball back more. We passed forward more. When you play against a team like Utah, if you want to play backwards and square, they want that, desperately want that. And we fell into that trap, and we'd spoken all week about not doing that. So I thought in the second half we did a better job of it, which meant we got a bit more momentum. Obviously, even in the first half, when we went 2-0 down, we solved it and got a bit more momentum into the game. But football's harsh. It's built on goals, I think we were unlucky not to be given a penalty in the first half on Maddie Mercado. And I'm not saying that changes the game, but I think there was just like little moments where things weren't quite going our way.
Coach, with stoppage time, you got about 20 minutes of Mia Fischel out there. Mm-hmm. What did you see from her today?
Yeah, similar to what I saw in Orlando. You know, I think she can hold the ball up. She can join other people into the game. She nearly got an opportunity to round the keeper. And, you know, we are unfortunately having to manage a lot of players right now, and have ones missing. And I think we've managed that pretty well for the most part. But it was, you know, we needed to get Mia minutes today. We had to manage Sophia. We had to manage Maddie Darlene. We had to manage a lot of people, and obviously lost Jordan Bug again, which is disappointing. So I think we've got to now very quickly, the biggest area we have to be in control of is recovery, because we have to get on a plane on Wednesday. So how quickly we can recover mentally, physically, to be able to go and put a better performance in than we did tonight, over 90 minutes. There was still some bright spots, I thought, today, but you can't give the opponent what we gave them in the game and expect to get results.
So I just wanted to mention it on a different note. So like the Sounders yesterday honored Christian Roldan for making 400 appearances, and they've had a lot of players that have stuck around forever. For the Reign, you have Fishlock, who's been here for 14 seasons. Fort has been here for many years. What is it about the Seattle sports culture that really breeds this commitment and loyalty to the clubs?
I don't know. I can only really speak from my experience, and I think the Reign it's always been a special place. I think for myself, am I my 11th season?
Yes.
In my 11th season as is it?
With the Reign.
Yeah, with the Reign, yeah. My 11th season as coach of this club, like it's a really hard place to leave. And it's a really special place to be when you're here. And we've prided ourselves for a long time on culture and what we tried to build. And a big part of that is the players, and them feeling a big part of what we're trying to accomplish, because without them it means nothing. And yeah, you know, I think obviously Jess as an individual spoke this week about Seattle does have a lot of similarities to home, and being on a similar journey with her, I think, you know, you can really feel the sense of community here and the passion and love for the sport, which is great, along with obviously the culture that we tried to create.
All right, we got time for one last one from Jada.
Thanks. Congratulations on 250 matches. But I wanted to ask though, I mean, is this kind of one of the worst openers that you've kind of felt as a coach here, or where you know, because of the momentum that you have had, or
yeah, it's weird because it doesn't feel like an opener, because we're like deep. We feel like we're deep into it. Yeah, probably. I mean, I remember, I don't know when, I don't think it was an opener, but a couple of years ago, I think it was 23, we lost to Gotham here, 4, maybe? We were 3-0 down at half-time. Is that right? Come on, stats guy. That was one that was horrible. And we didn't respond at all in that game, from my memory. But yeah, you know, losing at home, losing anyway. I mean, I'm a terrible loser, but the losing at home's always not nice, you know, because everything you feel, you have a lot of in your control. And we haven't felt that, you know, we haven't really had that this year. So yeah, obviously we're really disappointed to lose any game, especially at home, and especially in the manner that we did. You know, like if you're 2-0 down and it's the last 10 minutes and you're pushing and you can see the third, it would feel different, you know. But I think the manner in which we conceded and lost, I think, is what probably hurts the most.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Laura.
Thank you.